Hotep, everybody. Hey, this is Michael Imhotep, host of the African History Network show on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. Hey, I'm here with Dr. Mark Thompson. You've seen him on MSNBC a lot. We are here at the Timbuktu Academy of Science and Technology. We're here for the COBRA conference dealing with reparations. Okay, how you doing today,
fine, brother? Thank you for having me, man.
All right, absolutely.
Appreciate you.
No problem, man. I like seeing you on MSNBC. I like hearing you talk about the current issues, especially issues pertaining to African Americans. And we know that on Wednesday, June 19th, in the House Judiciary Subcommittee, there was a congressional hearing dealing with H.R. 40 and dealing with reparations and forming a commission to study reparations, the damage done to African Americans, and come up with proposals. So what did you think about the congressional hearings that took place?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, brother.
No problem.
I appreciate the important work that you continue to do.
Thank you.
And I hope you will keep it up.
Absolutely.
The hearing was historic.
Yes.
Because this is a new H.R. 40, an H.R. 40 2.0, so to speak, no
Yes.
longer. Whereas the previous bill was about studying
Yes.
slavery.
Yes.
This is about studying what form reparations should take.
Yes.
For slavery and all the vestiges.
The vestiges, the legacy of slavery,
everything,
redlining,
lynching, the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So it was very, very important. And a brother just asked me outside, why is it taking so long?
Yes.
Well, those who would ask that probably wouldn't made it when our people were enslaved.
Exactly.
That took several hundred years.
Well, it's 246 years of slavery.
Yeah.
1619 to 1865.
Yeah. Well, but then
just in the 13 colonies.
Yeah, just in 13 colonies.
Yes.
You want to get to the whole Caribbean and the whole all
448 years.
Right.
From 1440 to 1888, basically in Brazil.
So if we start counting, we might as well give it up.
Yeah, exactly.
If we think we gonna have microwave revolution.
Exactly.
But it built up to this, and so I think that the hearing was tremendous. I think it probably changed a lot of people's minds.
Yes.
I was saying to someone else in an interview earlier who asked me why the issue has become so mainstream today. And I said it's because of the continuum of struggle.
Exactly.
It just didn't pop up one day.
Exactly.
And it's happened. This has been a continuum of struggle.
Absolutely.
And so in that regard, I think that this is a very important day.
Well, this also deals with the power of the vote.
Yeah.
Because if African Americans and other people did not show up in midterm elections in November 2018,
That's right.
Democrats would not have taken control of the House of Representatives.
That's
that
right.
means they are in control of all of the committees, the subcommittees. They can determine which hearings take place. This would not have happened, okay?
Right.
And one of the things, now personally, I think that there should have been more historians on the panel. I know Dr. Julia Malveaux, who's an economist. I've interviewed her before. She was superb. I think she really did a good job. Ta-Nehisi Coates, etc. But even with the lack of the number of historians on the panel, one of the great things that happened afterwards is that a number of articles have been written about this to get deep into the history and why reparations are important. And also, I was reading an article from the New York Times dealing with how reparations has been paid before, and they give all these other groups that got reparations. We're dealing with Native Americans, Japanese after World War II, and this is a teaching moment also.
Right.
Talk about the importance of that as well, because like you said, a lot of people think this is a microwave solution, and it's a long process.
It is a long process. And this is just the beginning in terms of legislation. But again, for the first time in history, you have a Speaker of the House endorsing legislation.
Yes.
You have a judiciary.
Nancy Pelosi.
You have a judiciary chair with the power to call a hearing.
Right.
What comes after that is markup. What comes after that is vote.
Yes.
And there will be a vote probably for the first time ever on reparations. And the power of the vote is something.
Yes.
Democrats know. If they didn't get it before, they got it now. You need the black vote.
Yes.
Without us, you're not in power.
Exactly.
So if you want to stay in power, you have to respect the things that we want and demand.
Right.
And one of those things, most important, is reparations. So you have to listen now, and you have to do that. And I think it's also hard. I was saying to another sister, who was another interviewer with the final call about, she was asking why this again so
Sister
mainstream.
Starla, I think it was. She interviewed me as well. Yes.
Which is so mainstream.
Yes.
Why it's so mainstream. Even amongst white progressives.
Yeah.
Who we've seen over the past, at the same time as reparations was building momentum.
Right.
In the past 20 years,
Right.
the LGBT movement, this is the women's movement, has renewed itself, feminism.
Right.
Progressives, white progressives, making the case for against income inequality.
Right.
It's only so long that you can demand justice in your situation.
Right.
And then when someone else's injustice is presented to you, how long can you look in the mirror, take yourself seriously without accepting that?
And ignore it. Absolutely.
And so that created the environment
yes.
for Ta-Nehisi's piece in the Atlantic.
In 2014.
That's right.
That really helped propel it
they helped
in the
propel it.
Atlantic, which is a historic publication, been around something like 140 years.
And
yes.
and an unassailable argument.
Absolutely. He did the research and he did the work. It's a 17-page expose.
Couldn't be knocked down.
Exactly.
So all of that, I think, has led to this moment. And, we've seen other moments in the past that we thought big breakthrough.
Right.
But it's one big breakthrough on top of another big breakthrough.
Exactly.
The breakthroughs keep coming.
Exactly.
And so the next big breakthrough will be something else we'll be able to happen now.
Well, lastly, 2020 elections are coming up. We hear the candidates running. Right now, you got 24 Democrats running. Okay, after the first two debates, I think a lot going to drop out, number one. But some people are saying, no reparations, no vote. My thing is, well, you must want Donald Trump for another 4 years. Because Trump ain't talking about reparations. And Mitch McConnell has already said he's against reparations. Well, if he stays as Senate Majority Leader, the vote is not going to come up in the U.S. Senate. Explain how we have to navigate through this.
How long? Where is this going to air?
YouTube, Facebook, on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF here in Detroit. My Facebook fan page, the African History Network.
So you want to stay on YouTube at 9:10 a.m. right?
Yeah.
So as you know,
right.
See, the question you asked me, see, if I address that,
right,
they may try to put you off like they put me off.
Okay.
So maybe you don't want me to address that. But
okay.
I tell you what, I'll address it. Y'all already coming after me, so just stay on me. Don't come for this brother. He asked me. Don't punish him.
Right.
Don't make him suffer for what I'm about to say.
Okay.
You are absolutely right.
Right.
What people do is, in terms of trying to divide our people,
yes,
the black vote's the most powerful thing there is.
Yes.
So you got to divide and conquer it and scuttle it. So what people do is they latch on to an aspect of our movement to kill two birds with one stone.
Right.
So
right.
you can introduce people who don't know any better.
Right.
To a branch of our movement that never existed before. All right. And then at the same time discredit the overall movement.
Right.
Because then everybody else says, but them people for reparations are crazy.
Right.
Because they saying not to vote. Wait, nobody for reparations said that. Those of us who've been in the struggle
exactly.
for reparations. And COBRA
was founded in 1987.
They ain't never said don't vote.
Right. Right.
So anybody saying no reparations, no vote.
Right.
You need to question that.
Exactly.
Now, y'all may not want to admit this, but I was at the hearing. Some of them folk came in.
HR 40.
Yeah, some of them folk came in loaded for bed. Now you've been in a situation where somebody come ready for a fight, and ain't no fight.
Right.
And they looking for what we do.
Right.
And what I think people heard in that hearing, or what I think people saw, some of you watching at home, was that there's nothing to disagree with.
Right. If you understand the history, ain't nothing to disagree
with.
But
there's nothing on the table to fight about. So I said to some people who were there, I said, well, what did you disagree with? They said they couldn't come with us, so you started attacking me,
Right.
Because that's what people do. But politics is politics. And like it or not, the reparations movement for decades, in terms of grassroots, was housed within our Pan-Africanist and black nationalist struggle.
Yes.
It married itself to the mainstream through John Conyers.
Okay, HR 40, 1989,
right.
Representative John Conyers. Yes.
Which proves that, people do what they have to do to work in coalition. And I was here, but I was too young. I'm still young, by the way.
Right.
Very young. I'm a millennial. and why is everybody laughing? So, you was brother over here laughing. So, as a young person,
right,
then and now, I was too young to have made that decision. But the Pan-Africanism movement The revolutionaries made a decision to ally themselves with John Conyers, an elected Democrat right here.
13th Congressional District
in the city of Detroit.
Yes.
Okay, so that bid was made.
Okay.
You know, I didn't start that.
Okay.
I didn't create it. No, none was. Everybody who's working with Sheila Jackson Lee now and other members of Congress. You know, I interviewed Nancy Pelosi. She said to me on camera, I support HR 40.
Okay.
Oh, he went to her. But I didn't start it. That started with John Conyers.
Okay.
Nothing happens in a vacuum.
Exactly.
As Dr. Clark said, there's a continuum of history.
Right.
So this didn't just pop up last week.
Dr. John Henry Carter.
Yeah, this didn't pop up last week.
Correct.
So the decision was made in the reparations movement to deal with it legislatively, which is not unreasonable. How else is it going to happen?
It's going to be law.
But let's be practical. Got 3 branch government. Let's go to the Supreme Court.
Right.
What's their history with us? No good. And right now, let's deal with something let's deal with another movement. Let's deal with the women's movement. They're illegally striking down women's laws to have access to reproductive choice, which is against the law. Roe v. Wade made that constitutional.
1973.
But nobody wants to take it to the Supreme Court because you don't have the votes.
Right.
And if you go up there, they're going to strike down Roe v. Wade. So you see, it's not even strategic. It's the same thing. We don't have the votes for reparations on the Supreme Court. You can't expect the president in power now to do an executive order.
Exactly.
And it's money, so Congress is actually supposed to appropriate.
Article 1 of the Constitution.
So the numbers exist in Congress at the moment.
Yes.
You got 60 co-sponsors. The Democrats control the House, and we can call for the question, up and down vote, roll call, see where people are, and I think that's how we move forward. And I think what people saw the other day, that's something that is tangible.
Yes.
Now, so for people to say don't vote, it's funny how people say when they say don't vote, they say don't vote for the Democrats.
Right.
Now Trump is in the White House.
Right.
So whoa. Why don't we say if there are no reparations, don't vote for President Trump? Right. But nobody say why? I wish I'll check that out now. Right. The Democrats are doing what they can do. They probably will pass the bill. Yeah. Because that's the steps. You have hearing, markup, vote. Right. And so we're on our way. This is not to say there aren't contradictions. Sure. This is not to say that the Democrats have not historically taken us for granted. We know they have. Right. But each time, each election cycle, you got to push that envelope. Exactly. Are you going to take us for granted this? Are you going to take us for granted this time, or are you going to answer what our demands are? And one of our demands right now is that HR 40 be passed. This is a long struggle, ain't going nowhere. This is the struggle for reparations. And COBRA is the organization that has been leading that struggle.
Absolutely, since 1987. Lastly, how can people follow you on social media?
Make It Plain on Twitter, @Minister with 2 T's on Twitter, @Minister with 2 T's on Instagram. I'm all there. And Facebook, Mark Thompson or Matsamela Mafumo. Pleasure, brother.
All right, well, Dr. Mark Thompson, appreciate it.
Get that shirt.
Oh, I was speaking last weekend at the Juneteenth festival in Atlanta.
What size is it?
This is extra large. So I was speaking there, and I got this shirt there also. I got to talk to Bob Johnson, see if I can get you one of these shirts. Hey everybody, this is Michael Imhotep, host of the African History Network show, 9-10 a.m. the Superstation.
Imhotep.
Yes.
Who Dr. John Henry Clark was compared to, one of our great African thinkers and scientists. Yes. And our young people need to know, all of you young people need to know from whence you come. You do not come from slaves. Right. You came from a great people, a genius of people who were enslaved. The first thinkers, the first scientists, the first doctors, the first academicians, the first spiritualists, the first people to interpret humankind's relationship with God. That's where you come from. Absolutely. You can be any and everything you want to be because of that.
Well, speaking of Dr. Clark, Dr. Lyndon Jeffries just walked in.
He sure did.
His wife.
Yes, he did. That's right.
Dr. Rosin Jeffries.
Sure did.
All right, 9-10 a.m. Superstation every Sunday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the African History Network show. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com.
Support his brother.
Thank you. The African History Network on Facebook, Michael Imhotep on YouTube. We'll talk to you later. Peace.